Well, hey there, Mama, and welcome back to the Moms Overcoming Overwhelm podcast, episode number 160. I'm Emily McDermott, and I'm here beside you on this journey as we work together to declutter your home, head, and heart. I hope that you enjoyed Tuesday's episode all about the cognitive biases that cause us to sometimes buy what we don't need. And today's episode is part 2 of the coaching session I aired last Thursday with Natalie Cook. And Natalie was mentioning how clothes are definitely her hang up when it comes to bringing too much into her home, and that she lives close by to a lot of shops, and also it's a way that she spends time with her friends. It's kind of an activity for them to do together. So I dive in with her about how to approach that and some strategies, and also some things and questions to ask yourself to be more intentional with your purchases. Before we dive in, I just want to say thank you again for everyone who left a review and shared the show. We will be doing another giveaway probably in the new year. And I want to read one of the reviews that I received from Jenna. And she writes, as a first-time mom, the biggest shock to my life after my baby was born became trying to find time to keep up with the little things around the house. I'm so glad I found this podcast. Now I'm able to listen to these episodes while putting my baby to sleep, and I gain actionable insight for ways to keep up while still juggling my other responsibilities as a mom. This podcast never makes me feel judged or guilty for my current systems, but rather reinforces the fact that I'm not alone in the struggle. Emily speaks from a place of compassion and provides advice for a wide range of moms to help in every scenario. Thank you so much, Jenna, for this thoughtful review. Really means the world to me. I try to speak definitely from a place of compassion and understanding because I have been where everyone is at, most likely in some season of my motherhood. So I am happy to support you however I can. Make sure you also check out our free Facebook group at tinyurl.com/moms overcoming overwhelm for more support and accountability. And without further ado, what do you say? Grab that notebook and pen and let's dive into today's conversation with Natalie Cook. Hey there, Mama. Are you tired of all the stuff crowding your home, calendar, and mind? Do you wish you could say goodbye to the endless to-do list running around in your head? Want to declutter but don't know where to start? You're in the right place. Welcome to Moms Overcoming Overwhelm, where you will find proven and practical solutions to declutter your home, head, and heart. Hi, I'm Emily, a wife, boy mom, and simplicity seeker. I struggled to get pregnant and felt overwhelmed until I discovered decluttering could create the physical and emotional space I needed to become a mom. Now, 2 kids later, I've transformed my life and motherhood by developing simple systems around decluttering, capsule wardrobes, kid stuff, cleaning and tidying, meal planning, time management, and more, and I can't wait to share them with you. If you're ready to reclaim the time and energy you crave, be present with your kids, and finally enjoy the life and motherhood you so deserve, let's kick overwhelm to the curb, shall we? Grab your lukewarm coffee, your notebook and pen, and clear off some counter space. Let's do this. Okay, so you were mentioning that you had this history, or not history, but like background retail, and also that you are trying to make more of a concerted effort to be more intentional about what you bring into your home. So first of all, it's meant for me. Yeah. I would love to hear, you mentioned it a little bit, just kind of like social activity, stress release when it comes to shopping. And it seems like is it clothing is the number one category of stuff you're bringing in, do you think?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, too, I was going to say, I know part of it stems from it makes me feel good to have nice clothes. And so I know it's not adrenaline, but what is the
Oh, the dopamine?
dopamine? I know what it is. And then you move on to the next thing, and so I know in my mind, I know what's going on.
I just listened to this fascinating book. When I walk, I sometimes listen to audiobooks, but it's called Scarcity Brain, and it's about how our brain is really wired for going through this scarcity loop, which means that there's like an opportunity, there's an unpredictable reward, and then it's easily repeatable. And that during the pandemic, one of the reasons that online shopping like went through the roof is because, people were like,
okay, I have nothing to do. Here's like an opportunity. Oh, look, this is on sale today.
Right.
It wasn't on sale yesterday and now it's on sale today. And then the quick repeatability is that it's so easy to just continue to do it. So your brain was wired over whatever, millions of years to be trying to seek out these rewards and the dopamine. So you're normal. This is the first.
Yeah.
You're hardwired for this. So then the question is if it's becoming a problem, because in our world of abundance of stuff and, food and like all of these things that used to be more difficult for us to get, then it's like, well, what do we do about that? So part of it is the recognition, which you're already recognizing, like, okay, buying the clothes makes me feel good. One of the episodes I put on that list is with Mary Simpson. And did you listen to that? I love her. She's so sweet. And she's in Florida too. But for her, it was like her reward for working. You're working super hard. Like, this is your reward. It was kind of, again, the social kind of aspect too. So I would say, part of it with the recognition is understanding like what the true cost is when you are bringing something into your home, whatever it is. But even if it's a piece of clothing that makes you feel good, when you wear it, which you deserve to have things that make you feel good. But it's more the excess, and it's recognizing it's hard to find it. I have to maintain it. It's one more thing, like
It's also
energy.
I heard on your podcast, it's like also energy that it's sucking energy.
Yeah, it's sucking energy that like we have such a limited amount.
Mhm.
And so then when you recognize that, then it's kind of like, well, is that really treating myself? I'm like in week 3 or 4. I don't remember. I'm not having sugar, like any.
Good for you.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But, I realized it's so hard because all of our, like, I just had my birthday, like all the celebrations, like all of the things, treating myself has always been something sweet, something sugary. That has been wired in my brain is like, I need a treat, I need a reward. It's going to be food for me rather than the shopping. But then the question is like, if it's not helping me reach my goal of being more healthy, is it really a treat? Like, am I actually treating myself or is it causing more harm than good? So part of it is kind of shifting that. The social part is really hard. It depends on the friendships that you have with these other people, whether you feel comfortable and kind of vulnerable enough to be like, I'm trying to shift my activities and my like stress release from shopping to like something else. Would anyone be willing to take a Zumba class with me? Or like, I know it's Florida, so like the walks might be hard because it's hot, but some sort of other activity where you're not having the store be the place, and see if they're open to that and just say like, I'm trying to simplify. I'm trying to be less stressed out by my stuff. And it's not like necessarily like addict level with me with sugar. It's not like an addict thing. However, we wouldn't tell an alcoholic to like go hang out with their friends at the bar.
Right.
It's sort of like, if you're my friend, then let's figure out an alternate solution where we can still hang out
Right.
and be shopping. So you might need to be a little creative in that. But what are some of your thoughts based upon what I was just talking about, the shopping stuff?
No, I think that's good. I do, because I did think about that. I'm like, well, what else could we do? I mean, not that I go shopping with friends a lot. Like I have a weekend, I go with my friend to shop, but I think I could, just kind of manage that. Say, oh, okay, I'm going to get, you can only do so much or whatever, or only manage that. But yeah, I mean, I think find something else to do, an exercise class, or go get some coffee, or
Yeah. I would say too, when you start to have clothing in your closet that is stuff that you love to wear and that looks really good on you, the dopamine is like already in your closet. You know what I mean? You don't have to like go out, find like the new thing that is going to look good on you because you feel comfortable and confident in the stuff that you have already.
right.
So that's a mindset shift too. I think, question, historically, have you been kind of like a sale hunter, bargain hunter? Is it like thrill of the hunt for things, or just more like this piece of clothing makes me feel good?
It's probably that, like, I'll find something in a store that I like, and it may not be on sale where I'm on a hunt until I find it online. Okay.
Yeah. And that's normal. Like, I have a lot of minimalist mom friends, and they're like thrifters. And so they constantly, they're constantly going like in the thrift stores and like finding stuff. And I think kind of knowing yourself and being like, maybe it's just a matter of there's this concept of abstainers versus satisficers. Abstainer means you just full turkey, like you can't, because it's just gonna trigger. Like my friend Amy, who is a professional organizer, declutter coach, she doesn't go into Target because it's so triggering for her. Like she'll buy like tons of stuff.
I live across the street from Marshall's, and I'm
Oh gosh, you poor thing.
so, I mean, it's nothing for me to run over there after work or on a lunch break to run over there and see, but all it is temptation. And it's like, where am I going? So I've kind of just
Yeah.
learned to stay away. But I will say I've done better with influencers on Instagram and stuff that they sell stuff. And I'm like, I'll look at it and then I start looking at how much money it is, or, and I don't know. It's just something's flipped. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the budget. Something's flipped the last few weeks.
Good. That's so good. And when I was saying about like some people they have to completely abstain, and then some they can have like a little bit and it's okay. Like it's all right. So for maybe it's you, it's like, okay, now for if I'm going to Marshall's or going to like one of these places, instead of once a week, it's like once a month. Or like something where if you feel like you don't have to avoid it altogether, or maybe you avoid it altogether at the beginning and then kind of like see how you
Right.
do. But in my experience, your mindset shifts, and I totally forgot about the Christian perspective of our conversation. I'm sorry. Part of that is just recognizing what we have and stewarding what we have well, right? So that's part of it. And just kind of realizing that when you are grateful for what you already have, then you kind of have more of that generosity to be like, okay, this is excess. Like, I recognize this is excess. I can, let that go. And then you don't really desire the stuff anymore. It's almost like what I'm going through right now with sugar, where I never thought that I could go a day without having my like my chai latte drink every morning,
Right.
But then you're like, oh, I don't miss it because I'm feeling like so much better right now. Part of it is just recognizing that for you and like your purpose and what you are called to do as a mom and in your job and as a wife, it is being blocked and by all of the stuff. The money can go towards time with your son, like going out, wherever, I don't know, laser tag, I don't know.
I'd rather travel or something than, and then also on the budget, I realized how much, like, we weren't tithing. And so I realized, oh, we can, we still have room to do this, and I realized how much money you were blowing, not only in space, but the money blowing, that could go to other things. And I remember there was the preacher gave a sermon one Sunday, and I wanted to just melt in my chair because he was talking about almost like the excess, like you're saying, like, and I thought, I have so much unneeded things, and it's things, and I could be helping else instead of all this unnecessary extra stuff. And I literally wanted to melt in my chair. 'Cause I'm
Oh,
embarrassed, because I knew
right.
everybody liked to shop, and that was my thing, and I loved it. And I was just almost embarrassed about it because,
It's kind of the moments of conviction, and I would say one of the passages in scripture, I think it's Exodus 16, but anyway, it's like Moses is trying to explain to the Israelites what the manna is. And so they're like, oh, okay. He goes, just collect what you need, only what you need for the day, right? The daily bread, right? Just collect what you need. And then there's a verse that says, but they didn't listen. And then the excess bred worms and stank. And what I attribute that to is when we have excess, it's not serving us. Like it's actually harming us. and recognizing that, like, God is like, hey, I'm providing for you. Like, I will give you what you need. I'm giving you your daily bread. And then the excess isn't just like, okay, let's like hoard this and like keep this for ourselves. It's actually has a negative impact. So I think shifting our mindset a little bit on that and be like, yes, shopping can make me feel good, but other things make me feel good too. Other things like spending time with your family or friends or reading a good book or going for a walk or any of these things. And that's kind of what Mary said, is that she just kind of started walking and like not walking into a store, right? Just kind of walking. And it helped her mental health so much too. So that might be an option or some other things. But having a Marshall's across the street is tough.
Or getting Dillard's, and I'm in a tourist town, so I'm straight across. But there is a park within walking distance that I walk the dog and my son can play. So I also that I can go do, But yeah, I just learned I just can't, or if I have to go, like I need to go buy a birthday present in a little while, and I'm like, I'm gonna go Ross, but I'm just gonna go straight to the toys and straight up.
Yeah. That's good. And, and I'm going to be following up with you and kind of like checking in. And the other thing is I'm going to do a new decluttering challenge in the group.
So I want to do that.
Having the awareness that this is something you want to shift, that you have recognized this in the last few weeks is amazing. Like you should be really proud of yourself and just like thrilled that you're kind of making these connections, because a lot of people don't ever make the connections, or they just kind of don't care, because the benefit that they get from that dopamine hit of like buying something is too enjoyable, I guess, to like always look at the greater picture.
Right.
And it's not like perfection. It's not like I'm never going in Marshalls again, or like I'm never going to go in a Target. Like that's not realistic. But recognizing your triggers, like recognizing the things that are triggering you to buy. And you
Right.
already recognize that with Instagram. Maybe not looking at Instagram before bed because it's like you can see the ads and then it's kind of the rabbit hole. Some of those boundaries, those tech boundaries, unsubscribing from the emails for a short amount of time. I mean, you can subscribe again in a millisecond, So test unsubscribing and not getting the ooh sale, ooh sale, ooh sale, because that triggers your brain like, oh, I'm missing out if I don't take advantage of that.
I think I could, instead of buying a lot of things, I could save up and buy one nice thing instead of buying all this stuff and bringing I like Free People brand, which is very expensive. But if I was to not bring home 10 shirts, I could get that Free People blouse or whatever that I can find on sale. So more expensive than just depending if I just kind of budget and save and not bring home a pile of stuff to clutter, I can have maybe the nicer items.
Yeah, part of it is, unfortunately, our culture now is in this sort of like haul, HAUL, haul type of like culture, which is just strange to me. That's kind of like what surrounds us. But what the message that is going to surround you and me forever is like, you need more, go get more. Like that's always going to be the message. But it's more kind of having that countercultural, like, okay, but it means more to me to be able to have the time and energy and space to pursue these other things.
Right.
So I can't do that if I'm like surrounded by stuff. Okay, so I know we talked about a lot. Do you have any final like questions, things we didn't get to before I kind of recap next steps?
I have a wedding dress. What do you suggest do with the wedding dress? It's like, I have a son.
I know. Still good.
It is hanging and right there in my closet, and it's been that way. And I'm like, but I don't want to, I want to get rid of it. I mean, I know I can give it to the angels where they make for me that, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm there yet, but I feel like, what am I going to do with this?
No, that's a great question. Where I live, I'm in Northern Virginia, and they actually have an organization that donates the dresses to military spouses.
Oh, okay.
I did that. I don't know. I can look for you and just see if there's anything like that. I have heard of that before with like the angels thing for like the NICU babies, or for like babies that have passed. Yeah. And if you're not there yet, that's okay. I would say, again, the fact that you have a son is helpful, but it's really just more like the memory being in the thing.
Well, I loved the dress.
Yeah. I looked for the wedding dress too. I know. But it's more like, okay, that's the thing about wedding dresses. We're not wearing it again.
Right.
This is what I usually say for like sentimental stuff. If you have the photo, you have the photo. You have the photo of you in it when you got married. But having the story around it, like being able to take 5 minutes, you can do it on your phone. You can do an audio message on your phone if you don't want to write it down. And you're going to be like, I remember when I got this dress and I have been looking and I tried on 15 dresses and this was the one I got. And I loved it because it has A, B, C, D, E. You're telling the story of your dress, okay? Because sometimes the reason that we don't want to get rid of stuff is that because of the story associated with it, the memory that we have of it. And so we feel like if we get rid of the thing, then the memory is kind of like going with it too. But if you're able to kind of capture the memory and you have pictures of you in the dress, but you can also take just a picture of the dress if you want, then sit for a little bit with it. And when you feel like, okay, I feel like I've captured this memory and sentiment enough that the space it's taking up in the closet could be used for something else that's more important. That shift, as these other things are shifting for you, that will probably shift. And then you might be more willing to donate it to one of those, angel things where they're not going to have it stay in its original form. So that's what I would recommend. Just kind of like telling the story of your dress, having that, it takes you 5 minutes, sitting with it a couple weeks as you're doing these other changes and just see if your perspective shifts.
Remember, I think it was your podcast where it talked about the wedding dress is not necessarily the money, but some of this stuff, it's like the money you have in it, but the money's sunk already. And also you can bless someone else. With the wedding dress, it's like you could bless someone else with that. And it'll be just sitting there. I'm trying. I've made a lot of headway in my head, but I've just got to get the physical stuff.
Now, I know. And sometimes that is it because it's kind of like not just one step to kind of get it out the door. So, I'm happy to send you some resources to kind of get the ball rolling. And then honestly, the other thing is like sometimes we get caught up with the utility of things, and I get caught up with that too. Like I have to have this go to the perfect person. But the problem is that a lot of times then we get stuck in the perfectionism and then we never get rid of the thing. So at the beginning, just being gracious with yourself and maybe doing like a pickup. We have Green Drop and like Veterans and Purple Heart. There's a bunch of different pickup services, and just have them pick up all of it. Like don't try to be like, I need this tank top to go to my friend. Don't do that to yourself at the beginning. Once you get further along in your journey, you can be more discerning. But right now, if you've made the decision to donate it, get it out. Get it out. If you need to throw it away, throw it away. I'm not the environmental police. Do what you got to do because it's like a mental, emotional, physical health thing. Anything else before we sign off?
No, and I think this is just some feedback. I just think this is very beneficial. I like the idea of just doing it virtually. I thought about having someone come in, but to be honest, the cost of it come in for 10 hours. I've checked into it and said that I found this, I was really excited about this.
If you liked today's podcast, here's what you can do. Just take 30 seconds to leave me a review. I know you're a busy mama. You're overwhelmed, in fact, but 30 seconds of your day makes such an impact. I'll be blessed by your words. They'll definitely make my day. And who knows, you might be entered for this month's giveaway. In Apple Podcasts, scroll down to write a review. Thanks so much for your time. I'm so grateful for you.